Here are my top 5 tips to get good at Brawlhalla fast. Hello my friends, I'm Reptile79 back at it again, and today I'm going to tell you my top 5 tips to get good at Brawlhalla fast while I play an online ranked match, so you're not bored while you listen to me. So, as soon as we get into the match, I'm going to start telling you the tips. Oh, I'm against Mako, and he has the Wavemaker title too! That's funny. Alright, so we're in the match. So first off, basic knowledge. Basic knowledge just basically means any knowledge that you should know. If you do your triggers twice, then you can dash. Or do dodges, sort of, like ways of avoiding easy attacks. That's something you should always know. What is this guy doing? Dude? You okay? You okay, dude? I can shoot you. If you think I'm not going to attack you, I can. Okay, next up, of course, is easy attacks, which is the ones that are quick to use, but don't do much damage. And then you have the strong attacks, which are the ones that do quite a lot of damage, but they're very, very slow to use. So when up against someone who's using quick attacks, you really don't have much of an opportunity. The other thing is down hits, which is when someone's off the course, knocking them downwards. And of course, when they're above you, shooting upwards. These are very, very useful tips to know. And things like that. It's like when they're off the course and they're high on health, do a down attack, boom, they're done. So these are just basic knowledge. Also in recovery, you can jump once, jump twice, do an up attack, and use your shift. And that's a good way of recovering back to the course once you've yeeted yourself off it. That's a really good way of recovery. Whack me! Boom! So I've been whacked off, 1 jump, 2 jump, up, and boom. Look how far that goes. Like, it's a ridiculously good recovery. And then the other basic knowledge is quick attacks. Ow, he hit me. Quick attacks are to be used when you're trying to work someone up to the red and the orange. And then strong attacks are to be used when they're in the red and orange to make sure that the person gets automatically killed. Like that. So that's the basic knowledge. The next up is know your character. Knowing your character, or also known as knowing your character's weapons, basically means 2 things. One, you need to know the handling of your character. What their speed is, so how fast they move, how quick they can attack with their dexterity, things like that. Those are really important knowledge to know in order to play this game well. So, like, for example, with Nyx, I know that he's a relatively good all-around character, but his speed is really, really good. He also has high dexterity. He's not the strongest dude, but he is very good with that sort of thing. I also just lost. Well, that was dumb. I'm going to continue this one in the next game. So we're in the raiding room. As I was saying before, the reason I play with Nyx is because he's the character I know best. I know his handling, I know what it feels like to run with him and move with him and attack with him, because I've played with him a lot. He's a level 10. So, knowing your character is a very, very important factor. That's why the second tip I have is know your character. But, oh, okay, it's a very investigator too. But the other thing is knowing your weapon. Knowing how to use your weapon to the best extent. So, like, with your any given character, they have 2 weapons. So you should know how to use those weapons well in order to make sure you get the best out of your character. When you're unarmed, it doesn't really make much of a difference knowing your weapons because you don't have any. So if I can first get my weapon, so we have a scythe. Scythes are very good for close attacks. So you basically just, if you can let me, come over here. So you run up, and then you just keep whacking with quick attacks. And then you can just get them in a string of combos, though if you do it over and over again, you can work up quite the combo. Strong attacks, on the other hand, are like the side one, you can do a down one, you can do the up. So basically, I know the scythe well, and then let's see the guns. The guns, you can do your downs, which I love doing. You have the ups, which I love doing. You can do your sides like this. I don't really use the single ones. That's just not what I use. And that's not my preference. But down attacks and up attacks, those are my jam. Especially this, which can fling someone off at low health. See, I know my weapons, so thus I can fight this guy with basic ease because I know how I use my weapons. So that's the first tip. Now the other thing is knowing your enemy / being unpredictable. So first off, we'll cover knowing your enemy. So this guy, let's see what his strategy is. His strategy is when I'm in the air, he hits me up there. When I'm on the ground, he tries to hurt me. He's trying to adapt as best he can to deal with me. So he knows this tip already. So basically what you need to know is you need to know what your enemy's strategy is if they have one, and then figuring out a strategy to counter that strategy in order to make sure that you win as often as possible. So this guy, if I'm on the ground, he cycles me. If I'm in the air, he shoots me up. That's my strategy. So if I'm in the air, I have to avoid getting hit with that. And then if I'm on the ground, all I have to do is avoid getting cycled. With his boots, I don't know what that is, but we'll find out. So with his boots, his idea is use quick attacks. Like, basically, he's always adapting. So you have to always adapt in order to make sure that you're always able to have the upper hand on your opponent. See, look, he's kicking me on the ground. So my best advantage is to get rid of that thing. And since he only is fighting me on the ground... Oh, now he's just completely abandoned that. Yeah, see, that's kind of the point of this. So I need to get my weapon. And now I'm going to deal with you the fun way, with my guns. See, so I avoided him hitting me like that. So I know his strat with any of his weapons. So now I can deal with him in the way that works best. My way. But basically, yeah, knowing your opponent and being able to adapt to their strategy is that. And also being unpredictable. As you can see, I'm not sticking to any given theme here. I'm just kind of... I have my strategies, but they're always constantly changing, and I don't really stick to anything at any given point. Will you please leave me alone while I do my explanation? Thank you! Ah! Get out of here! I'm going to yeet you into orbit, dude. Get out of here! Ugh! Nope. Okay. Sorry, guys. I would be talking to you, but I'm trying to actually win this match rather than the last one. Come down here. Touch on the floor. Touch on the floor, and now die! Thank you! I don't know why. It's just when I'm losing, I really get annoyed. I think that's actually probably everyone. That was the most awesome whack I've ever seen. Anyway, point is, then the other thing is, of course, being unpredictable. So as you can see, I'm doing my down attacks, my up attacks, things like that, and when he starts whacking me, then I change to something along the lines of that. Unless it doesn't work, in which case I'll stick to what does work. This. And then this. And then that. So basically, the combination here is... Ah! I was doing so good. Why did I choose to do ranked in this? I'll continue that topic in the next match. New color. Knowing how to be unpredictable is a very good thing. So basically all that means is just don't spam moves, don't stick to your strategy. If something isn't working, oh, he's a chill player to brawl with. That ain't good. So basically changing that up all the time is always good. And now for this last bit, the fourth bit of advice, it's practice. Practice makes perfect. And literally, like, you might not think, oh, hey, I'm not learning anything. But you'll gradually get better, even if you don't think you're learning anything. Like, take it from me. I didn't play this game for 2 months. Now I've been playing it almost every day. And now I'm beating Vallhalladictorian's level 4s and 5s. I've beaten 3 Vallhalladictorian level 4s and 1 level 5. So, literally just playing the game often is one of the best things you can do. You should also know the basics because that'll help you out a lot. But in the long term, this is the only bit of advice that applies in the long term, practice makes perfect. You just need to learn how your character works and all the things that I talked about and just practice it out and it'll work wonders for your game skill. It's so good. I thought, literally, when I first discovered how good practice is for this game, I thought it was magic. I was beating Vallhalladictorian's level 5 and 4, and I was like, oh, these guys suck. No, I've just played it often. And that doesn't mean that they're bad players, it just means that they haven't played as often as I have, so they're just not used to the handling of their character, or they're using a new character or something like that. So literally, as I said before, practice makes perfect. So this is the 4 tips. So just a quick overview here of what those tips were. You're not gonna get me this time, dude. A quick overview of what those tips were is, first off, of course, basic knowledge. Knowing how to recover, knowing what attacks work best in what situation, and other knowledge like that. That is common knowledge that you should always know. Stuff like that. Then the next thing is knowing your weapons that your character has, and knowing your character's handling, so you won't get, like, caught unawares when you're fighting with your character, and, like, fighting with new characters isn't a bad thing, just be willing to lose a lot until you get the handling of your character. I need to get a gun in order to beat this guy. Hi, dude. I'd like a gun. Game? I don't want to touch the ground. Give it. Ah, there you go. There we go. Okay, so as I was saying, so knowing your character and your weapons, that's very important. Third tip is, of course, knowing your enemy and being unpredictable. Know their strategy. So this guy, if I'm on his most strategy is centered around the ground. He doesn't really do air attacks. So if I use these, he's basically useless. He can't do anything against it because he's not adapting. So he doesn't basically know anything about how to deal with me. And that's the advantage I have here. He's not an adapter. He doesn't know how to adapt to his situation, and that is my advantage. And then, of course, the last thing is practice. I've played this game a lot, so if you're the fact that I lost the last 2 times, I will attribute to the fact that I'm paying less attention to the game and more attention to talking to keep you guys, you know, active, keep my retention up. But now I'm actually paying attention to the game. I'm doing way better. I was at 3 and he's at 1 life. Another thing, make this tip number 5. Pay attention to your game, and when you're recording, like, don't record a tips video in ranked. That's the 6th bit of advice. 5th tip is always pay attention, and 7th tip is don't film a tips video in ranked. Thank you! So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a blast playing Brawlhalla and telling you guys these tips. And I will catch you next time. Sayonara, Ainara. Boom. Da 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 da.